Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Valerie Harris, and this is your Stepping Up and Stepping Out series that airs every Tuesday, guys, at 7 o'clock p.m. And listen, I designed this program just for you. This series has been designed to inspire you, to encourage you, and to empower its listeners to guess what? Step up and step out of their comfort zone. And as an author and life purpose empowerment coach and leadership consultant, I help women in leadership and entrepreneurs build a business that will create financial freedom, a healthy lifestyle, and leave a legacy. So tonight, guys, we have a guest with us. And our guest name is Carol Ray. And I would just like to give you a little bit of information about Carol before we bring her to the screen. Carol is the founder and director of the Elite School of Etiquette. She is a mother, entrepreneur, speaker, author, former educator of 26 years, and a certified etiquette instructor. And listen, you all are going to be sitting on the edge of your seat with all the information that she's going to give us because she's recognized by the Society of Certified Etiquette Trainer Board and certified through the prestigious the American School of Protocol. She has a bachelor's and a master's degree in early childhood education and a specialist degree in educational leadership. And look, Carol has been seen all over the Atlanta area, nationally, and on the big screen, conducting these type of trainings for dining classes and hosting teas. And she also is been a guest speaker on various platforms. And she has even starred in several reality TV shows teaching etiquette to celebrity cast members. So let me bring to the screen tonight. Carol Ray.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am so happy that you decided to uh, accept my invitation to come out to the show and to just talk to us because this is a subject for everybody.
It is.
It's something that we all need to know about how we appropriately live, period. Our lifestyle, period. It's a
Mhm.
part of our daily life. And these are things that we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm excited about how you're going to share with us. And I know for Black History, this would have been very appropriate. But I want you to talk to us and give us the key factors that is related to Black history that surrounds etiquette and where it started. Would you talk to us about that for a few
Sure.
minutes?
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you for having me on your show. And anytime I have an opportunity to share etiquette with others, it just brings me a lot of joy because, as you mentioned, there's some history behind it that kind of is close to my heart and it's close to yours as well.
Yes.
And even though we came out of Black History Month, we're still in the Women's Month, right?
Yes.
But something that could stay with people forever. And as you said, etiquette. Most people think that etiquette is related to the Europeans, right?
Right.
And of course, for our young people, a lot of times they're very resistant because they're thinking they have to be someone else and they just want to be themselves. But interestingly enough, etiquette actually comes from us. Yay! It was the Africans who civilized the Europeans. Yes. Now, if you think about all of the history that we've had and things that we have invented, things that we discovered, whatever it might be, we weren't people to write things down. We don't record in books, okay? So, as a result of that, when the Europeans came upon us and they saw our mannerisms and saw the things that we were doing, they were highly impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, look at what they're doing. So, of course, what did they do? They recorded it, and the rest is history. So, of course, when we think of the royal family, of course, at that time, the people who were traveling were those who had means. So that meant that they can travel around the world and experience and see different things, and that's what they saw from us. And another key tip that I always ask people, I said, well, when you think about, even though they show us always as slaves, and that's not all that we were, nor is that all where we originally started. But if you think about Big Mama in the house, It's kind of interesting when I say that. Then all of a sudden, everybody's eyes open up wide, like, yeah, Big Mama, she was always working with the children,
Mhm.
right? Well,
Yes,
what was she teaching the children?
right.
She was teaching them manners.
He was teaching the manners.
She was
Yeah.
teaching them manners. So how can you teach them something that you don't know? She didn't go somewhere and learn it so that she could teach the children.
No education.
There you go. So how did she come there with these skills to teach masters children? So that kind of, like, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So
That's awesome. And probably a lot of people don't even realize that or didn't even think about that if that's not a study of theirs. And because all of us as children were taught manners,
yeah.
about how to wash your hands and no talking at the table, no chewing. I mean, there were certain things that we were taught as children, but like you said, who knew that all of that was going to be taking place like that? You know.
Well, a lot of things we don't know, but I'm just blessed and thankful that I have the opportunity to share that information with the public, share it with my students, and even, on my platforms and on other platforms, because I think the more we're educated and the more we know about ourselves, I think that helps to build our confidence. And hopefully that'll help build our communication skills, our self esteem, and then overall rebuild our community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm.
So knowing all of that, can you give us some practice tips that we should use daily?
Hmm.
Just a few
Well,
things. Yeah.
it's kind of interesting because today I have, I was just sharing that I have a YouTube channel called Sitting Pretty with Carol,
Okay.
and I was sharing with on my YouTube channel 5 different areas that we need to be mindful of and why etiquette is so important and how is it important. And so I'm going to share those 5 with you all
Okay.
briefly today. Okay.
Okay.
So number 1 is making a positive first impression. A lot of people don't realize that within the first 7 seconds, people form opinions about you.
Yes.
Okay. And within those 7 seconds, you may think, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just being myself or whatever. But were you being your best self?
Right.
You walk into a space, you don't know anyone. Matter of fact, before you even go to that space, do you make sure that you're dressed appropriately? It's better to overdress than to underdress. So, do we show up dressed appropriately? You know, do we have our hair? Is our hair neat? Is our face washed? Are our clothes clean? So that's number 1. So we need to think about when we go to a party, if you're taking your children somewhere with you and they've never been there before, don't let them come in there looking raggedy and torn up because they just came from outside. At least make them put on some clean jeans, a clean shirt, you know, wash their face, put some lotion on them, then take them somewhere because your children really are just another extension of yourself.
Right.
And I know right now everybody's real relaxed and laid back,
Too
but
relaxed.
too relaxed. But interestingly enough, our competition across the water, they still get dressed up every day. They
Yes.
still show up being professional. And so we will automatically get judged by our appearance. So we better start waking up and at least pull it together a little bit better than what we've been doing.
And we really need to do a lot more with this in the school system because you'll see some kids, and some of them have on pajama bottoms. They might have on bedroom shoes, and
Hmm.
and you know, and so that knowledge of knowing the proper way to come out of the house, that is a big deal because, and like you said, in 7 seconds, somebody's making an impression on you. So if you're going to a job interview and you're looking like this and not really taking the time to really polish yourself up for an interview, you've already failed the interview before you even leave out of the interview.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. But really, it starts with the parents.
Yes,
Parents
yes,
are the children's first teacher,
yes,
and we take that for granted. And a lot of the parents need training because we can tell children all day what to do, but what they see is what they do,
Yes,
not what they hear us say.
absolutely.
So um, that makes a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to number two.
Okay.
Something that, why etiquette is so important, and that is because it helps to boost your confidence, right? So if I know what the rules are, I can confidently execute whatever it is. And one of the things I tell people is that etiquette is in everything that we do. You drive a car, there's etiquette. Etiquette are just rules, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if you're part of a team, there, if you have young people who are part of different sports teams, playing the band, there's etiquette there. If they go to school, there's etiquette in their classroom. If you have a job, there's etiquette in having a job.
Yes.
Um, so every aspect of our lives is centered around etiquette. But
Yes.
most people look at it as just something formal, and I have to sit a certain way and I have to hold my fork this way. No, it goes beyond that.
Beyond that. Yes.
Yeah, so when you know what the rules are, that's just like if I know the rules of the road, that means that I have confidence when I get behind the wheel, right?
That's right.
And then also, um, the third is when you have etiquette, it opens the door of opportunities. So they kind of piggyback on the confidence. So if I know the rules, then that means that doors of opportunity will open up for me because
Right.
people will say, okay, they know the norms.
Right.
That's why a lot of times we have police who police us a lot because most of us don't abide by the basic rules.
Right. Right.
Think about it. If
Right.
I'm invited to a party, why are you all out in the street? Why are you all not in the party?
Party. Right.
If you go to a restaurant, why is it that you don't eat your meal, talk for a little while longer and leave?
And leave. Right.
And leave so that other customers can come in, bring more money to the restaurant or the establishment and eat, enjoy their company, and then leave. No, we'll come in, probably buy appetizer or something small or whatever, but because we like the environment, we want to stay there all night. And it's not like we're continuously ordering food to make up for other people not having this table. We'll just
Absolutely.
stay there for hours. And the company, they can't tell you got to get out,
Right.
but that's what we call knowing the rules,
Knowing the rules. Yeah.
right? And when you don't know the rules, then that's when certain businesses, groups, and organizations start making shifts and changes to their policies. And,
Wow.
and then we sometimes think like, oh, they just being prejudiced. They just trying to keep us out. They just
Yeah.
trying. No, what it is a business is a business.
And they're trying to make money.
Everybody has their own brand, their own image. They have what they want. And if you're not abiding by the rules that they have, then they have to make the adjustments. So,
Right.
again, that goes with boosting confidence and also opening up opportunities. Number four and number five, I say it cultivates a heart for others. When you use etiquette, you're just showing that you are considerate of other people, right? And
Yeah.
really, etiquette is not even about us. It's not about you. It's not just about me. And most people think like, well, I got etiquette, so I'm this or I'm that, and and I have this, and I.
Ah, ah, ah.
Etiquette
Mm-mm.
is not about me per se. Etiquette is about how I make other people feel being around me. If I come in, I'm loud, maybe I didn't take a bath. I mean, people are put off by that. It's just
Right.
like, oh my God, like we can't even come in here and just enjoy ourselves because this person right here is smelling, or they're loud, or they're on their phone and they're not even supposed to be on their phone in here. See, that's when we start going to the left. That's
Yes.
that's not using etiquette or being considerate of others. And so, right along with that, when you use etiquette to be considerate, it cuts down on arguments, it
Yes.
cuts down on fights, and it even cuts down on wars.
Right.
So, etiquette makes a difference in our world, whether we realize them or not, no matter who you are.
No matter who you are,
No
absolutely.
matter who you are.
And not to get offended if someone speaks to you um, about that, because I mean, sometimes people just don't know. Because a
Well,
lot of times people just think when you talk about etiquette, it's about food and eating. So
hmm
if they don't understand that it's a lifestyle of all the things that we're involved in,
hmm
they are looking at your left. So that's the thing.
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, there are groups of people, and it's not just one race of people. They're
Right,
just groups of people who are bent on breaking rules.
right,
They may not even know what the rules are, but they don't care because sometimes it's out of anger.
right,
They're just mad at the world, think, like I hate these kind of people, or I don't want to abide by their rules, I'm paying, so I should be able to do what I want to do. And then you have people who are just, they don't know, they're ignorant.
yeah,
So they've never really been exposed. They see
no,
something that looks appealing, but they don't know what the rules are to engage and to participate in that.
right,
Okay. And then you have those um, who want to do better. They don't know. And those will be the ones who would, have to have somebody to put the rules out, like there's a dress code, make sure you come in with this on. And so they, might say, oh, well, I don't have a jacket on, or I have on sneakers and they said no sneakers allowed, or whatever. So there's just a multitude of different types of people. And interestingly enough, you have people who don't want to go by the rules. They just want to do their own thing, but they want to invade your space and your business.
right,
And that's the part that gets a lot of people in trouble.
right.
hmm
That's good. That's really good. And so when we're talking about that lifestyle, tell us about how it relates to our personal business and relationships.
hmm Well, in terms of business, it matters on so many different levels. And really, when people buy from a company or a business, they're just not buying the product or the service. If there is a person that's behind the brand or whatever it is, they're usually buying the person
Right,
because they like what the person stands for or whoever created it and their purpose behind it,
right,
right? But right along with that, for business, one of the things that I realized, and it's sometimes a little bit frustrating to be honest with you, and that is, going into certain establishments and everybody wants to own a business, but they don't realize that the customer is the heartbeat of the
of the
business.
business. Yeah,
And what happens is, um, there are a couple of things that I've seen. One is, we start making our money. We're super excited about our business, so we start making all this money, and then we forget about the upkeep of the business. We would rather go buy the Benz, the Rolls Royce, the Bentley, and park it out front to let people know, like, oh, this is my business, and I'm doing well in
and
business.
you go in the bathroom and it's toe up from the floor up.
Or, I mean, even the front door, you got fingerprints everywhere. You
Yes,
got trash out in the
yes,
front. The grass hasn't been cut. If there's landscape, I mean, just a whole lot of different things are going on. And, you know, I hate to say it, but for us, um, you know, I hate to say it, but sometimes I think because of some environments that people have come from, they don't have they don't have standards,
well, that's true. I mean,
right?
it is true.
So if I go to a place and the grass is not cut or it trash is on the floor or whatever, some people just walk over it and go in and participate in what's going on. Whereas for me or some other people, if I see that, first of all, I'm turned off. Like, why is there trash on the floor?
Right,
Like, that looks like if they were cooking, they dropped the utensils on the floor,
and left them.
picked it up, and kept using it to cook with.
Yeah,
That's what it would look like to me.
yeah,
Right? So again, that goes into consideration. And also, you know, sometimes I think business owners kind of separate themselves from their business, and they still need to be somewhat connected,
Mm-hmm.
because they may not even know that some of these things are going on with their businesses, right? And they're wondering why they keep losing customers or they're losing money. So we need to be honest. Sometimes if we see something that we don't like, instead of saying, okay, I don't want to go there anymore, the proper way to handle that sometimes would be to go find the owner.
And tell them.
Hmm. That would be proper etiquette, because every business owner should have the opportunity to have complaints or someone
So
sharing.
they can clean it up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, sometimes they're not completely aware.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you tell them one time and you come back it's the same way, then that means that the owner really doesn't care,
Right.
right? So they did not take the what? Customers into consideration. So if you don't
Mm.
take the customers into consideration, then why are you even in business?
Yes.
So, you
They
know,
said there's some good teaching right here.
oh, thank you. Thank
They
you
said
so
they
much.
are listen, Teresa Moore said, say it. Dr. Jones said, watching impressions are important. And I love what you said about that first 7 seconds about
Mhm.
making an impression on someone when you go into a place, they're checking you out.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some situations, and that's why I feel so happy when I can get on anyone's platform to just get in somebody's ear for them to hear these things, because I had a program and I had an adult to come in to speak, and they brought their daughter. Now, the children that I had at this particular event, they were well put together,
Right.
right? They were dressed up, and the daughter who came in with the parent just had like some old shoes on, just looked like they just rolled out the bed, and it was like, come on, come go with me right quick. And I just said, and they're supposed to be business owners,
Oh wow.
and this is a young lady. We're not talking, because I know boys can be a little different. Boys, they put on a shirt and some pants and let's go,
Right.
right? But we're talking about a young lady,
Right.
and you're with your dad. Like, that would be unheard of growing up. If my dad saw me just looking raggedy and I'm getting ready to go out of the house, much
Right.
less my mother, because she would have snatched me by the back of my head, asked me, where are you going?
And you're not going out this house looking like this.
So it's like the parents are actually failing the kids. I don't know if the child was resistant or what. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But we're in a battle. I say there's the dark and there's the light, and social media has brought both darkness and light, because we're using media right now to bring light,
To
right?
bring light, absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
To help people. It's about encouraging them
People.
and inspiring them and to empower them with the information and
Yeah.
just pray that they use it to their advantage. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's the struggle
It's a
nowadays. Parents are struggling with their kids. I mean, I go through the same ordeal in its own way with my own son. Not that I'm fighting against social media, but there are certain things that they're picking up from social media that it's building their confidence to think like, I could say this or I can do this or whatever. And it's just like, child,
no,
please,
no,
I will take your breath.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But I don't want to. Like, I'm
right,
a female, so why am I even doing all of this? It's just
right,
like, okay, your day is coming, son. Trust and believe, right?
yeah, right.
But all I could do is guide, and that's what most parents are trying to do, right?
And teach
So,
them the right thing because when the thing of
mhm,
it is, we can do all those things, but like you said, once they look at TV, all the videos that are out, all the
mhm.
bad influences that are out that seem like that's the thing to do, that right there is just the competition that we as parents have with our children.
But you know what? I'm going to say it's a combination of things too.
It
You know,
is.
because just like we have a choice, there's God, there's Satan, there's
Right,
good, there's bad, there's dark,
right,
there's light,
right,
right?
right,
What I have seen is that there is a higher influx of the adults trying to be like the children.
right. Now that's good. You're right.
And as a result, the children are confused. So If I'm an adult and I have a child, but I'm trying to be like my child,
Because you can't be their friend like that.
right? So when they go around another adult, guess what they're thinking?
Right.
You're just like my parents. So I can say what I want to say
Want
to
to
you,
say.
just like I say to my mama or my
Right.
daddy, whatever.
Right.
And the way that the parents are dressing, I mean, I can go on and on, but we lost it, but we can get it back.
We can get it back.
We can get it
Absolutely.
back. But I would say this much, having constituents that live in Europe, and for them to say that people still get dressed up every day, people still look professional, people are still polished, people still wear regular shoes and pants and dresses and skirts and whatnot, and we're over here wearing yoga pants and sweatpants and all kind of torn up jeans, like we're a vagabond and we just got off of a bench sleeping overnight. Like that has become like the thing. Like, how shredded up can your jeans be?
Right.
And a lot of our leaders are the adults.
Right.
They're wearing that. Like the women are like, oh, this is the fashion. Put your shredded up jeans and this cute top with this blazer, instead of saying, no, if the movement was get it together, adults. So the kids can have something to look up to. Because think about it, when I was in school and I saw my teachers dressed a certain way and they had a certain mannerism, they did certain things, whatever. It was like, when I grow up, I want to be just like them.
That's a lot of times what we said because they were all dressed up.
And we respected them.
Yes. Yeah.
And even as a school teacher or a former educator, because I'm not in the school anymore, I used to come dressed every day.
Me
I
too.
would
I
dress
was
every day.
dressed every day. But now you can't tell the kid from the teacher in
Right.
some
But
instances.
I just stopped teaching this past year, but every day I would come in. And the interesting thing was, some of the teachers would say, why you be dressed up all the time? I'm not dressed up. I'm just dressed as a professional. How
Right.
about you? Girl, I ain't thinking about these kids.
But we need to think about them because they're our future.
Right. But at the same time, if I was to reprimand any one of those children, they would not speak back to me. They would not talk back to me.
Absolutely.
If anything, they'd be like, yes, ma'am. Okay. Now, if the other teachers were to say something to them, those kids would be ready to curse them out. It's something about when a teacher dresses up and looks professional. And I've had somebody to rebuttal. They were like, well, there were teachers at my school. This is another teacher who was dressing down like the kids. She said, well, I dress down so that they can feel related, and you know, that they
But
can.
I don't want them to relate to me like that.
But see, that's the mindset.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
it's like the blind leading the blind.
yeah.
It's like, who's the leader here? Them or you? Who's
Right.
got the sense? Them or you? It's almost like, what's wrong with you all?
And
Have you
then the
watched?
kids think that they can talk to them any kind of way, and that's what's happening. Because the respect is not there. So I'm gonna say whatever I want to say because you looking like me. So hey, we're gonna have it like we friend, and it shouldn't be that. It should not be that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, the kids should be able to say, you know what? I need to speak to an adult. And it shouldn't be, well, because you looking like me, I should be able to go talk to you. Well, if that's the case, if you looking like me and you acting like me, then maybe I should go talk to my friend. No, I should have an appearance. Not to say that you got to come in there with Gucci shirt on and all. No, if I look like a real grown woman, okay, and I know we're going through all these things like, what's a woman? And I'll, man, please, whatever, okay.
We're not
But
going there.
no,
You understand what I'm saying? They
no,
understand what
no,
I'm
no, no, no. But I'm saying,
saying.
the kids want, you can still,
Yeah.
how is it that I can teach etiquette classes and be dressed up and sometimes be going in on the kids? And at the end, the kids, they can't do enough for me. Can I carry your bags? Can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? Yes. Okay. How is that?
Yeah.
And I'm dressed up. If you're telling me, well, the kids don't feel comfortable coming to me about this, what kids want is somebody who's going to be honest with them. They want somebody who's going to be consistent. If I'm a fuss, I'm a fuss. They know like, oh, girl, she don't play. She don't
Right.
play. Don't go in her classroom like that because she'll. And at the same time, I reward them.
Right.
If I say I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, you better bet your bottom dollar I'm going to do X, Y, and
Y
Z.
Z. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where the parents have failed these children. I'm gonna tell you point blank, parents, teachers, adults have failed children in that a parent will tell a child, we're going to the park when I get home. Mama gets home, she's tired. Mama, we going to the park? No. And she goes into her room. So the kids are like, dang, mama said we were going to the park. And then, they kind of dismiss it or whatever, to kind of disappoint the kid, like, dang, I really wanted to go to the park. Then the next time something comes up, mama tell them, oh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then X, Y, and Z time come up, and then
And
mama
the
forget
same
about
thing.
it. Mama
Yeah.
forget about it. She don't say nothing to the kid about it. They don't have a discussion about it. Nothing. Well, after a point, the children start saying, they just be saying stuff. They lie all the time. So what do? They stop trusting the adult. So they kind of move on their own accord, whether they have their own friends that they go to. Sometimes they come to school angry because it's like, my mama said she was going to do it, but she keep forgetting. And I don't know why she keep forgetting. I'm telling you, I done picked all this. I picked it to a T. And I said, did your mama tell you she was going to do something for you? Yes. Did she do it? No. Well, did she tell you why she couldn't do it? No, she ain't say nothing. She just didn't do it. So I had to tell parents, I said, if you tell your child you're gonna give him some milk, chocolate milk at night, and you ran out of money, you couldn't get the chocolate milk. It ain't that well, I just didn't have no money. That's why I ain't get no chocolate milk. No. Go tell the child, listen, I know I told you we were gonna get some chocolate milk, but mama ran out of money. I couldn't afford to buy no chocolate milk tonight, baby. But when mama gets more money, I'll get you some chocolate milk, okay? That makes the child feel like she was thinking about me. I'm
Right.
important. They still might be upset because they really want that chocolate milk, but they can move away knowing that my mama talked to me about this.
Right. Right.
And when mama gets some money, guess what mama does? She bring that chocolate milk,
Right.
right? But if it goes on and on and on, every time mama say something, it's almost like they think that children are not thinking organisms. Like they don't be caring. They ain't thinking about that. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to communicate it. And
Right.
depending on how mama is, first couple of times they complained about it, mom probably slapped them in the head or said, don't be talking back to me. If I told you I can't get it, don't be asking me that question. You
Absolutely.
punish them
Yeah.
for asking about something that you actually promised them.
Told them you were going to do. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Carol, time is almost run out, but I want you to talk to us about that reality show, and I want you to tell us about
Yeah.
that because that was so exciting when we were talking about that, the reality show and your part and working with celebrities on the reality show.
Absolutely. Well, the first reality show that I was on was actually Married at First Sight,
Okay.
Unmatchable. And I'm not a big television watcher, and that's the funny thing. But the young lady was 24 years old, and she was looking to find a partner, but she was having some challenges because she was a little rough around the edges. And so the people who were running the show said, you know what, we need to get her some etiquette training. So, being that it was filmed here in Atlanta, they were looking for an African American etiquette consultant, and they came across the Elite School of Etiquette.
All right now.
Yes, and so they immediately reached out, and I did my part for the show. Worked with her, talked to her about, and gave her a lot of strategies and different things to think about. And the part that was kind of heartbreaking but interesting, and it kind of made me even that much more alert and purposeful, is when she said, Miss Carol, when I grow up, I'm going to be just like you.
Wow.
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, well, where's your mom? And like me, I was like, she was like, yeah. And I said, well, what about the people that you know? She says, well, I try to hang with older women. She said, but they act just like I do. Okay. That was the
Oh,
first thing I said. Oh my goodness. I said, so you don't have any role models? She said, well, the only role model that we got, is Michelle Obama.
wow.
What? Michelle Obama? She was like, yeah. She says, we don't really see women dressed like you. Like, where are we going to see a woman looking like you that acts like you and, has this type of conversation with me? And I was just like, what? And it seems like as soon as that happened, a can of worm, it was like all females started calling me, Miss Carol, can you teach me how to be a lady? Miss Carol, can you come talk to my group because they
That's
need to learn
awesome. I mean, listen, listen, listen. And it's well needed. And
Yes.
God has chosen you for a time such as this to
He
be that
has.
beacon light in their life. And that is just powerful right there.
That he has, and I'm truly blessed. Sometimes it becomes a little bit overwhelming because I can only do so much, and a lot of stress and people's energy coming off on me. I have to give it to God and be like, okay, Lord, speak through me so I can go ahead and reach whatever needs to be reached and let them go,
Right,
because if they just keep coming, I'm not equipped. I'm not a counselor. I'm an
right.
etiquette consultant that counsels, but
But not on that level. Right, right,
right, they need a therapist,
right,
in other words. Okay. And
right.
then for the other reality show, I just went to Huntsville. Was it Huntsville, Alabama? I think it is. Well, there's a show called Love Marriage Huntsville,
Okay,
and one of their key cast members, I believe her name is Melody, um, hosted a tea party. And being an etiquette consultant, not only do I teach people how to eat and work on social skills and business etiquette. I also teach the etiquette of taking tea.
okay,
And so she hosted a tea party, and all of the other women from the cast of Love Marriage Huntsville were invited to the tea party. So, right along with me teaching the etiquette of tea, they were having some beef with each other, like some female issues, like, well, this, that, going back and forth. And so I was more so like the mediator. Like, okay, if you're a lady, you're a business owner, then these are some of the things that you need to take into consideration when you're talking to a customer or when you're in someone else's establishment. You can't show up in someone else's establishment and be cursing each other out and being
being
loud
rude. Yeah,
and obnoxious,
yeah.
right? And then I said, you all, and then they started kind of bickering. I said, wow, you all are so beautiful, but your behavior doesn't match that. So it
Wow.
was like I was, sharing different things with them. And then of course when it was over, on both shows, the producers, the people who were behind the camera, everybody, they were just like, you we learned so much from you. Even the people who hosted the tea party, it was their first large tea party that they had. They were sitting in the back and they were like, we learned how to give tea listening to you. We learned so
Much.
much just from listening to you. And
Look at
even
that.
and even from the first reality show that I did, they were so in tune with what I was saying that they weren't even keeping up with what they were supposed to be doing with their camera videotaping me.
Because
And
they
then
were watching what was going on.
because they were like, you you said some stuff, and they were, I mean, and all these people were like black and white. So we're not just talking about just black people doing this. It was like on all different levels.
Levels.
It was like you can hear a pin drop quick because they were just like, just looking at their faces, and I was just like, like, y'all supposed to be filming. What y'all doing? They were like, oh my God. They were trying to catch up, and they would have to stop. They're like, we need to do that scene over. They had to do the scene over because they weren't paying attention. They were paying attention to me, but they weren't paying attention to what they were supposed to be doing
Been
because
doing
they were
right.
just like, you girl, you was laying it down. And all I can say is that's God.
That's
God
God.
God speaks through me. This is my purpose. This is my role. This is my joy. This is my thing. Okay. And this is my, what do they say, my gift.
Uh huh.
And so, again, like I said, it just brings me joy. Like I could just talk and talk and share and share.
And see,
And
the thing of it is, what people have to understand, whatever our passion, our purpose, and all of that, it is so that God would get the glory out of it. Because
Mhm.
it's life transformation that happens. It's like people's lives get transformed into be molded into someone that they should have been acting like. You know what I mean? So
Well, but
it
there's time. Your teacher shows up when you're ready to receive the lesson. So it's
yes,
perfect timing when people are where they're supposed to be.
yes,
And I'm there to instill, and I could pick up from people's energy. So
right,
sometimes I have to go and put my hand on their shoulder. I have to
right,
touch them because I notice that either they're like disengaged or they don't want to be bothered. So I touch them because sometimes I feel as though someone has let them down.
right.
And I want
And I
them.
mean, in this life, we are going through, people are going through so many changes. And I mean, all of us have our own issues, but it's just the way we handle those issues. It's the way we handle the encounters and challenges that we have. And everybody don't do it the same. And everybody, well, some people will lash out where someone else will smile, so you have
Right.
all of that going on. Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm the most perfect person because, like
I
I
know I'm not. Listen,
know.
he's still working on me.
Well, you know what? But let me just say this: even as a person teaching etiquette, I tell some people, don't let this fool you, because some people think like, oh, if you teach etiquette, you just have to be so nice, and just everything has to just be so wonderful. Yes, this is so wonderful. No, no, ma'am. If somebody is doing something wrong, that's where that honesty comes in. That's where
Yes.
that consideration comes in. It's like, you know what, that was very disrespectful for you to do X, Y, and Z. And you speak to to the situation. Just like when someone offends you or says something that you don't like, you're not speaking against their character.
Right.
You speak against what it is that they're doing,
Doing. Absolutely.
right?
And it's a
So,
way to do everything. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, Carol, I just want to thank you so much for coming out here sharing. We're going to have to get you
Yeah.
back so we can do a part two because, they were just saying this was some good teaching. And I think a lot of people would love to just be able to hear more about this as far as training. And I know you have a school for girls that you have
I have
started this year.
everything. I have everything.
I,
So if you're an adult and you're here, whether you have children or not, if they're here in Atlanta, I don't know if it's local or not. As I mentioned, I have a YouTube channel now that's called Sitting Pretty, and pretty is spelled Prettea. Sitting Pretty with Carol. There, I'm going to be giving etiquette tips, lifestyle hacks, and also sharing some of my favorite teas. So
so
that
send me the name of the channel too so that I can post that so people can go
uh-huh.
out there and yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
I'm
And
putting it in the
you
chat
can
box.
do it later, and I can put it in the under your information so that they can go to that and be able to witness that and learn some more things from it. So I
Yeah, make
really
sure y'all subscribe. It's my new YouTube channel.
look. I tell them that every week, y'all. Listen, go to Carl's YouTube and
Mhm.
subscribe, and please, I tell you every week. Go to Stepping Out with Valerie Harris and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We need you to subscribe to those channels, guys.
Mhm.
So,
That's
okay, Carl, see you in a few minutes.
all right.
All right. So listen, everybody, it's so wonderful that you came out to join us tonight. And I'm about to sign out. But before I go, I just want to make sure you remember that I have a new book out called Effects of Prayer in the Life of a Leader. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million. Go to any of those outlets and purchase my new book, guys. And also, like I just said, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch some of the previous shows that we've had. I also have an upcoming workshop starting on March the 18th at 1:30. And if you want to know more about that, you can go to my website and you can sign up for that workshop. And if you need a free consultation, if you're going through anything and you need some tips or some help in whatever area in your life, go to www.talktimeval.com and you can sign up for a free consultation. And listen, Talk Time Val is about to sign out. It was wonderful coming out here seeing you just for a few minutes, and I will be talking to you a little bit later.